Elevate Jiu-Jitsu Mag presents Ask a Lady Black Belt. Today's panel is with Rachel Morrison Casillas out of Spring Hill, Tennessee, Mary Holmes out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and Ginger Mark out of DeLand, Florida.
Hey guys, I'm Rachel Morrison Casillas and I train here at Tennessee Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Spring Hill, Tennessee. I'm a first degree black belt under Ray Casillas and Robert Drysdale. I was asked by Denise to answer a couple questions for Elevate Jiu-Jitsu magazine, so I'm going to do that for you guys. First of all, I want to give a quick shout out to my sponsor, Shoyoroll. I appreciate them supporting me and believing me, and we're going to continue to compete and teach as long as we can. Hopefully this downtime will be over pretty soon. So the first question was asked by Nicole Bartlett in Florida. Her question is, what was your biggest fears / hesitations when first starting jiu-jitsu? Well, my story is a little bit different. As I said, I'm a first degree, so I've been a black belt for 5 years. I will get my second degree next year, so I've been doing jiu-jitsu for a while. I really didn't have that much hesitation in starting jiu-jitsu because we actually moved out to Colorado to care for my mother-in-law who was ill. My husband opened his own jiu-jitsu gym. At that time, I didn't really do jiu-jitsu. I had been doing Thai boxing and boxing in the Marine Corps. And so when he started his gym, I just threw on a gi to help build the jiu-jitsu program there, to support him. I had that old school red gameness gi. For any of those old school ladies, you'll remember that. It was super heavy, and the smallest size they made was an A1. So yeah, I looked ridiculous. I looked like a little short Santa. But I started to help my husband, so I really didn't have any fears at that point. I will tell you though that my fears developed later on after I started training competitively for jiu-jitsu. There was some awkward moments where men didn't want to train with me, and not so much because I was a female, but because I was married to my husband, and he's over there. We just got done filming some videos, technique-wise. They thought that was not appropriate, so that was strange for a while. Some of my other fears that initially during jiu-jitsu is that people would not accept me for my own individual jiu-jitsu player. They would just always associate me with Ray. For the longest time, I'm like, oh, that's Ray Casillas' wife, that's Ray's wife. So I pushed myself pretty hard to compete and make a name for myself. I also made it very clear that whenever I moved up and got a different belt, I wanted to make sure it was known that I earned it. So I was always trying to compete at the Worlds or the Pans so that no one would ever say, oh, well, your husband just gave you your belt. And for the record, he didn't give me all my belts. But I think I got all of my belts. I did get all of my belts, except for my blue belt, on the podium. So that was a fear that I had underlying when I first started. It doesn't bother me now. I'm proud to be Ray Casillas' wife, so they can associate us together all they want. But that was one of my biggest fears when I started. One of the other ones was I was afraid of getting hurt. That's not something that a lot of people talk about, but the more jiu-jitsu you do, the less injuries happen because you learn how to fall, you learn how to move your hands, how to move your feet. You learn instinctively who to roll with and who not to roll with. I have no problem looking at a white belt dude that I don't know and saying, no, not dog, not today. I don't know you. We're not training. Not because I think his jiu-jitsu is better than mine, but because I want to continue to do jiu-jitsu for years, and I don't need some knucklehead slamming me on my spine or on the top of my head because he gets stuck in a triangle. So you just get better at recognizing situations that aren't good for you. So I hope that helps.
Hey everybody, my name is Mary Holmes. I am a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Royce Gracie in Massey Haydairy. I live in Carborough, North Carolina. I train at Chapel Hill Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and here answering some questions for my good friends at Elevate Jiu-Jitsu Mag. The first question comes from Nicole in Florida. I'm gonna bring my little notebook over here. You guys please excuse my hair and facial hair. Just did some yard jiu-jitsu, also quarantine. Nicole in Florida asks, what were your biggest fears, hesitations about first starting in jiu-jitsu? All right, Nicole, here's what I would say. I would definitely say personal space. Some of the positions are a little awkward can be a little triggering. And I was lucky that I had a good group that I started with that were really supportive, and never inappropriate, never weird, always helpful. Rolling was always a bit scary. Again, starting as an adult learner, I was like 29 when I started jiu-jitsu. You have behaviors and thought processes that you have created to protect your ego. So being new at something is hard. So it's always scary to think about losing or being in weird situations. That fight or flight, that sense of self-protection, comes in. So those things were hard to initially overcome. I think definitely working on my mindset, being open-minded, being open to learning, being open to losing was helpful. But the team around me being supportive and being understanding was probably one of my biggest assets. So that's what I would say to that.
Hey guys, my name is Ginger Mark. I'm from DeLand, Florida. I'm a Roberto Traven black belt. I have an academy here in DeLand, Warrior Defense Martial Arts. I got asked to help out answering some questions to Ask a Lady Black Belt. Thank you for the opportunity. The question I have is from Nicole from Florida. She asked, what is my biggest fear or hesitation when I first started jiu-jitsu? Nicole, my biggest fear probably was making a fool out of myself or getting hurt. I had done martial arts for several years before that, but we never had done any grappling or jiu-jitsu, and I really felt like I was missing out on that part of self-defense from the ground. So I really was interested in it. I found a school that was mostly men, but I really liked the program that they had. I worked really, really hard there. They pushed me. They did not hurt me. They roughed me up a little bit because it's jiu-jitsu. It happens, but they never hurt me, and they never made me feel like I wasn't good enough to be there or shouldn't be there. So I was very blessed in that aspect. I would say the biggest fear was that if you find a school that is a good school and makes you feel comfortable and part of the family, I would say that is really, really key in squashing any of those fears or hesitations. Other than that, I really didn't have any other fears or hesitations. I love it, and I still love it. That was in 2007 I started, and still continue to train, and can't get enough of it. Hope that answers your question. Thank you for the opportunity. You guys have a blessed day.